Welcome into the Cat Lodge. I am your host Solomon, and today the cats and I are reviewing the Flopping Lobster by Amazingly Cat, which is a soft cuddly toy that starts flopping around as soon as you give it a good whack. The lobster is USB rechargeable and comes with a USB cable as well as 2 bags of catnip for extra pleasure. Before kicking off, I just want to say thank you to Amazingly Cat for sending us this toy to review. And they've also sent me a dancing fish toy, which I'll be giving away to one of you guys. So stay tuned till the end of the video and find out how you can win your very own fish. And without further ado, over to the cats. Alright, the first impressions are in, and as you could see, Sultan wasted no time at all and got straight into fighting, biting and kicking, while Danzig was, well, skeptical. As always, we did our longevity test where the cats got to try out the toy for a month, just to see if their opinions changed over time. Zoltan has had a fantastic time fighting the lobster, and after a month shows no real signs of getting bored with the toy, meaning that Sultan gives the Flopping Lobster a score of 5 paws out of 5 possible. When it comes to Danzig, I actually thought there would be a change in opinion, since initially Danzig seemed quite curious and that given enough time, the lobster might become less intimidating. But no. Danzig kept a safe distance whenever the lobster appeared. The toy, I believe, was simply too big and threatening, even when it was turned off, meaning that Danzig gives the Flopping Lobster a score of 1 paw out of 5 possible. Approaching the toy from a human perspective, I'll begin by showing you how it works, then talk about the quality and safety, sound, and finally I'll do a little comparison to the lobster's predecessor, the dancing fish. So, how does the lobster work? Well, first of all you have to charge it up, and you do this by opening the slit in the chest so that you can pull out the motor a bit and connect the USB cable. Stick the other end of the cable into a mobile phone charger and plug it into a socket. When the red light turns green, the lobster is ready for action, and you simply switch it on and push the motor back inside. Above the motor there is a dedicated catnip pocket where you can place one of the 2 bags of catnip. Then close the chest and seal it shut by using the Velcro. And that's it, you're ready to go. When it comes to quality and safety, there can be no doubt that a lot of effort has been put into making the lobster as safe and durable as possible. The eyes, feelers and legs are firmly attached, and the fabric is of high quality with ultra soft fur, almost like stroking a kitten. If you remove the motor, you can also wash the toy should it get too manky. What about sound then? Well, the lobster does give off a bit of noise when it starts flopping. Let's have a listen. And this is the sound of the dancing fish. And an electric toothbrush for reference. As you can hear, the flopping lobster and the dancing fish sound pretty similar, but the lobster is just slightly more muffled. Although I wouldn't call the lobster a loud toy by any means, some sound-sensitive cats could find it too much, so that is something to keep in mind. And while on the subject of comparison, let's talk about the differences between the lobster and the fish. The basic principle behind the toys are the same: give them a whack and they'll start moving. But the size, body shape, and the fact that the lobster's got dangly bits really makes a bigger difference than you might expect. At least according to Sultan, who found the lobster way more enjoyable than the fish. I believe the dangly bits gave the lobster a greater appeal, and the bigger size combined with the rounder shape made it more huggable. However, I think the flat shape of the fish does make it easier to carry around, so that might suit some cats better than the lobster. All in all, I'd say that this is a very good toy. It's safe, it's durable, it's not too loud, and the addition of dangly bits will most likely make the lobster appeal to a wider range of cats than the fish ever could. But there is one big negative, and that is the availability of the flopping lobster. You cannot buy this from any pet shop. In fact, the only place to order it from is Amazon, and as far as I can tell, it will always ship from the US. To anyone living in the United States, this is of course not a problem, but if you live anywhere else in the world, you are looking at extra shipping costs plus possible custom fees. And considering that the lobster is already quite pricey at $24 US, this could end up being a very expensive cat toy for non-Americans. Definitely something to keep in mind if you live outside of the US. The big question is of course, will this toy suit your cat? Well, if you got a cat like Danzig, who is a bit cautious and easily intimidated by bigger toys, then I would think twice about getting this one. Also, if you have a very sound-sensitive cat, the noise of the lobster's movement might be too much, so keep that in mind. But if you got a cat like Sultan, who is easygoing, eager to try new things, and loves kicking and fighting, then the flopping lobster could be a great sparring partner for your feline friend. Of course, all cats are different, so if you decide to get a lobster yourself, or if you already got one, I would love to know what your cat thought in the comments below. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I do have a spare dancing fish that I'll be giving away to one of you guys. To have a chance to win, all you have to do is write your cat's name in the comments below, followed by "wants a fish." So, if your cat's name is Sigma, you simply write "Sigma wants a fish." As simple as that. Come mid-December, I collect all the names and draw one lucky cat that will get their very own dancing fish. And that's all we have for you today. Thank you ever so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in our next video.